So we've been watching this object now going on nearly 2 weeks. This object appeared out from the obfuscated area here. Actually came right out of here and then began to do this kind of northwest type of direction. We also witnessed it ejecting this object right here in question. At the time, I don't think anyone really thought much of it, other than a possible aberration of the camera processing something. And we, of course, picked this up and began to recognize that it was a little bit more than what was being shown. So in this photo here, we did not actually begin to see anything off of the object. I want to point out that several things about this object. It has a very dark core. This is Mercury. This is Mars. This is Venus. Dark core, Sun, Sun, dark core, Sun, dark core, Sun, dark core. In fact, I am actually saying that the triangle that you're seeing is a direct reflection from the Sun. And again, these are solar cosmic waves as a result of our Sun, which is very defined. We don't question those. We say, okay, that's the science. That same science applies over here. In this frame, the object has ejected this right there. I believe this is significant because no one has been able to adequately either one describe what is being shown here, any possible theories as to what it is, and again, more importantly, what is the purpose? These are questions remain unanswered. They are relevant questions, and it should be asked of every person on planet Earth. Now, notice again where the Sun is, and look at our object here. It actually seems to be getting bigger, doesn't it? It's as big as Mercury. I would say probably equally in size to Mars. It was in this picture here that we began to realize that something was happening. The object continued to move in a northwest position, but now we were beginning to see something begin to form right here. In this photo, the object has really begun to take on some very unique characteristics. All these photos are magnified, by the way. What was most important about this is that we began to see clearly defined definition. Unlike when we see in, for instance, Mercury here, we can see the planet as we can with Venus. With this object, it's even more unique because the signature is very clearly defined. Now, let's talk about what is unfolding here. And this needs to be discussed Number one, what we saw, similar to, I don't know, we use the term torpedo. Use whatever term you'd like. We still see that here, but look what's happening here. Now this is beginning to take on mass itself. And folks, the bow wave here, the shock wave that's actually in front of this, is beginning to take on depth. It's casting a shadow. Now this is becoming very interesting. Now, pay attention to here. This continues to fascinate me as this continues to build. It has been suggested that at the movement of what we saw, that this was going to bypass Venus and eventually hit Earth. Who knows? I don't know. In the next two frames, we're going to begin to see something that I think is very disturbing. Again, this planet-size object is clearly defined. In fact, you look at this and the signature is unmistakably defined. Now I want you to pay attention to what's happened here. I think that this is a plasma or reaction because it seems to be reflecting light coming from the sun. You can see the shadow right here. So this now has enough mass and has now increased in size. I would dare say we could be looking at, well, no doubt, hundreds of thousands of miles. And not only is that in length, I have no idea what it is in height. All I can say and observe is from this photo here that this is a shadow, clearly a defined shadow. In fact, you can see that it apparently is still building. And I know the cursor is there, but it's the only way to explain this. So it tells me that this area here, which has most of the light here, by the way, could still be in the process of forming. But look at what's happening back here. Here was our original object that was ejected out. But it looks to me like it's beginning to build something back here. And again, equal distance, which I'm going to dub this the mothership. So now, if this mothership, and again, we don't know where this is in perspective to the camera. We don't know if it's close. We don't know if it's far. If it's far, it's very big. If it's close, it's not that big at all. So it's very hard to distinguish. We don't have the exact position of the satellite, so we can't measure. So we're making some very broad-based assumptions, which if those assumptions in any part of it are proven false or wrong, then the whole assumption is of no validity. However, if it does prove to have foundation, then it is valid. And I'm telling you, this is big, very, very big. My last photo on this is the last one that we have received. This was of the 28th, and it was the very last frame in this series. We're now going on, as I said, 2 weeks. This device, whatever it is, the mothership, has now maintained what appears to be either a stationary position or advancing very slowly. We do know, and I will be posting a video that will actually show these frames, something is happening in here. Again, you can clearly see the line, the demarcation line here. very distinct. A continued, something happening in the back. Again, clear delineation. Again, I can only assume that this is a reaction. Could be, like I said, could be anything. Plasma could be a reflection of the sun itself. But again, I want to point out, look at the depth of the shadow. We need to pay attention to this. There is so much going on. I believe that this is very relevant. That's why I'm posting it again. That's why I'm spending this much time on it. We cannot summarily dismiss this as nothing. This has significance. It has significance, I believe, for mankind. Now, there's two camps here. You can say that this is either an aberration and means nothing, or that this is something. And it's something beyond our technology, our ability. And if it is, then those implications, again, begin to justify Carl Sagan and his initial push of the idea that there was, in fact, aliens out there, life forms, more intelligence than us. I think we're seeing that. So, kind of review here very quickly. We've gone from this to this. Think about it, folks. You are witnessing something. Something of very much significance. Something that could very well have an impact on us as a species. Or then again, it could be absolutely nothing at all. All right. For the record, so you can see the time and date stamp. And again, our device, whatever this is, continues to baffle and amaze us.